welcome to our fun, fabulous. I'm trying to
fantastic.
Oh, fantastic. Very good, Kami. Recap, episode, discussion. I don't know what this is really, but we're talking about Anne of Green Gables, the sequel, and Jess is finally here after 84 long years of us waiting to finish this 4-hour movie. So
it's a long movie, and I finished it a few weeks ago at this point, so we're going to see how much I remember.
Oh, so this is really a test for you. So Kami,
no,
asking her the trivia.
Oh no, it's a test for you guys because I took notes for some good trivia, and I think that I am going to stump you many times.
Oh,
okay.
Challenge is on, but continue. We're not there yet.
We're not. Okay, I was like, oh gosh.
I just wanted to get you ready, get those Anne wheels turning.
Ready or anxious?
So I have a confession to make. This time around, I didn't finish. I didn't get through the entire thing, but I've watched it so many times in the past that I could probably say the movie along with it. So I'm going to see if that will serve me well.
Because I didn't finish it.
So you guys didn't finish it, but you give me a hard time for taking so long.
Whoa. Time out here. And how many years have Kaycee and I spent poring over this movie? Thank you very much. You hadn't watched it even once.
This is fair. And I mean, to be honest, Kami's probably watched even more than I have because, well, I was not conceived when this movie came out. So Kami was a wee one. She was a wee one. Little.
But my mother loved it, so I grew up watching it a lot.
You had the advantage there, yeah. So I wasn't.
I did.
Yes. You can't fault me for that.
Yeah. Well.
Anyway.
Well. I digress. Well, here's the thing. Here's the plan, you guys. So we're going to spare Jess, Kami, and my long, drawn out analysis of the movie. So we're gonna cut to the chase. We're gonna talk about Jess's hot takes. We're gonna combat some of her hot takes if we need to combat them. It's gonna be like a tennis match with 3 people.
I don't know how you'll manage her. She's such a baby.
Wow. Well, here's the
fired.
Oh, come on, people.
Well, Kami and I are going to come back and we are going to go into this a little bit deeper. So stay tuned. Yes. More fantastic discussions to happen. But for now, this is
and we'll spare her.
I do appreciate that. I don't think I could handle an in-depth analysis.
We'll do it with somebody who wants to be here.
It's not that I don't want to be here. In order to me be able to participate, I would need to watch this movie about 3 more times, and I do not have 12 hours to spare.
I'm cool with that.
But before we get to the hot takes, I have a hot question.
Ooh.
Oh.
Was this the only 2 movies in the miniseries, or is there more?
Well, okay, I have a hot take answer. Okay. It depends on who you talk to.
Because I'm talking to you. So what's the answer?
Well, technically there are 4 movie installments in the Sullivan Entertainment version of Anne of Green Gables.
Okay.
So the first one and the second one, so this one and the last one, they both came out in 1985 and 1987.
Mm-hmm.
And there was about a 10-ish year gap, and then the next one came out about 98, 99. So that's the third one. And then fans wanted more, so they created another one in 2008, but it's a prequel. It's called Anne of Green Gables, like the beginning or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
I wouldn't call it a prequel.
I haven't watched it because I was triggered by the fact that Megan Follows is not in this movie. They changed so many things about it. I just can't, y'all. I can't.
As we know, Kaycee is a purist.
I'm a purist.
Don't change anything.
I haven't seen it yet. I should probably just watch it to see it as a, this is like somebody else's interpretation of it and then try and be unbiased about it, but I still have not seen it yet.
So
So
There
there
is
are
a
4.
third movie with the same actors.
Yes.
Yes.
And why it's so controversial is because there are people who are Anne purists. We can dive into that in the next time when we get into the continuing story, which is a little, I think that you probably would enjoy it more than the first two because it's a little meatier.
What is the
That's
third
all I'm
movie?
gonna say. The continuing story.
It's called Anne of Green Gables, the continuing story.
I thought that's what
I
this one
have
was called.
seen what?
I thought that's what this one was called.
No,
The
this is called Anne of Green Gables, the sequel,
Oh,
or Anne of Avonlea,
Okay.
whichever one you want to call it.
there's too many names for
Too many.
movies to keep track of here. But I was going to say, if these were the only 2 movies, I felt a little robbed. But so I'm glad that there is a third one. Because
These were, I'm so glad to hear you say that because these were the only 2 movies for years.
Long time.
Yes, these were the only 2 movies for years. And then, yeah, there was a 10-ish year gap and they did Anne of Green Gables, the continuing story. And I was in Nicaragua at the time, and I still remember jumping up on my mom's bed and we just kind of cuddled with all the pillows and blankets and watched it on Saturday night. And then we recorded it on Sunday, and I was dying all of Sunday. And I want to watch the rest. I have seen the prequel. It's not bad. It's not bad, but it's not
Different.
Megan. It's not Megan. It's not, there's so much about it that they did a really good job with doing callbacks and doing things that reminded you of the story. But yeah, Barbara Hershey is the woman who played the older Anne. It's the older Anne looking back. And she did fine, but it just, and the girl, what?
I said it's not the same in the end.
It's just not the same. The girl who played young Anne is the one who played, what's her name? I think her name was Katie, the original little girl in The Good Witch.
Oh.
Yes. I did know that.
Yeah, that was her. And she did a fabulous job. She really did. You could tell that she had been studying the character of Anne. It just wasn't the same. It just wasn't.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that more when we go into the continuing story and whenever we get to it. But okay, let's like kind of travel back though. You just said, Jess, that you felt robbed.
Yeah.
So please expound on this.
I am very excited to hear
I want to know what you guys think I'm talking about because now I'm curious. You seem so intrigued.
Okay, so so my hot take on your hot question. The first thing that comes to my mind is Anne and Gilbert, but I'm a romantic. You're not. So I'm trying to decide if you're feeling robbed because you don't get to see the rest of their story, or you're smiling. So I think that might have something to do with it.
You are correct. No, I felt like you said it was a slow burn, but I expected that we would still like it felt like such a jump, where she's denied him more than once, and then all of a sudden they're engaged. And I kind of felt robbed of like really seeing their relationship. I know it was still there in bits and pieces, but I wanted it more concentrated. That's not really the word I was looking for, but you know what I mean.
Okay, first of all,
wait, have I just left you guys speechless? I have broken Kaycee and Kami.
We just can't believe that you would feel robbed about a romantic relationship.
Because it kind of ended and I was like, well, that's it?
Okay, so here's my recommendation now that you've seen the movies, these first 2. I would say go back and read Anne of Avonlea and Anne of the Island, because you get a bit of more, I think, of Anne and Gilbert and their relationship and their friends. Like you hear more about Ruby and Josie and Diana and there is a bit more hijinks. I honestly don't even think you would have to read the first one, because the first one is very similar to the first movie. I mean,
The first one's the only book I
pretty-
have.
Yeah.
But if you get a chance to read the next, like the 2 books, like if you want to see more about that relationship, I would say go back and read those 2. It's very different than the movies.
Well, I'm a book purist in the sense that I will have to read the first one before I will read anything that follows it. So I will I will have to read the first one. I'm a stickler about that.
Okay, summer book club.
Yeah.
But that was one thing that was so beautiful about the third movie is, oh boy, I'm getting giddy.
Well, you gotta like hold the reins.
Oh, no, I'm holding it.
I love you.
I'm holding it. Believe me, what did she say? If you knew how many things I wanted to say and don't, you'd give me some credit. So give me some credit here. I'm not going to spoil anything, but the first time that you see Anne and Gilbert together in the continuing story, it was just such a triumph. It was just such a, oh my gosh, they're really together. It didn't disappear, It was, that first moment when they first appear together, I just thought I was gonna die, and I was only 12 or 13. So
Same. So what other takes do you have on this? I mean, you've just made Kami and my year. I mean, like, just even saying, like, you wish you had more Anne and Gilbert. I mean, hello, but tell me more.
so for you to make our year in March, that's pretty good,
Yeah. But I think overall I enjoyed it. I don't know if I enjoyed it more or less than the first one. I think they were pretty equal in how much I enjoyed watching it. I liked seeing her in the school being teacher, and some of the shenanigans with the children and the I forgot their last name, the Pringles, because I know, like, obviously Anne has had challenges in her life, but at the same time I felt like a lot of things fell into place for her. Like, she was the top of her class and got this position that she wanted and stuff, and so I felt like this was the first time we really saw her struggle a little bit. And I thought that was really interesting to watch, like, in a character development perspective.
Yeah,
but then she met Mrs. Harris, and Mrs. Harris had met her match.
yeah.
Mrs. Harris had met her match at Anne Shirley.
Yeah.
Well, what did you think about Catherine Brooke?
That's the teacher, right?
That's the
principal.
The principal. She was interesting. She had such a woe is me attitude, which I kind of like it. Like, she was, one of those people who I think just kind of got stuck in the rut of how she felt she was perceived, to the point where she believed it. So I think Anne was a very good match for her to kind of whack her upside the head and, like, hey, people like you, people want to be your friend, but you got to stop moping around all the time.
Yeah. I mean, it's true to life. You can't be a Debbie Downer, because then nobody wants to be around a Debbie Downer.
Well, and look at the difference, because you have 2 women in the same profession who had gone through almost the same life situation. Catherine was an orphan. She got passed around through relatives. Now for Anne, it was foster homes, but she got passed around through relatives that didn't want her. And look at the difference.
Yeah.
Look at the difference of how Anne came out and her outlook on life, and how everyone's in love with her. She was quite a hot commodity in Kingsport, wasn't she? How's that for a hot take? But everyone's in love with her. She's beautiful. She's engaging. She gets everybody wrapped around her baby finger, right? She wins her way into the hearts of the Pringles. And then you have Catherine, someone who came from the exact same background and decided to focus on all of the negative aspects of that life.
Mm-hmm.
And thank heavens Anne pulled her out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can see at the end the change in her, like even her hair, like she's doing a little more like stylish and stuff.
Yeah.
You can see her smile again. So yeah, I would have liked to see what would have happened to Catherine Brooke.
Let's do a spinoff. We'll talk about Catherine's story.
Yeah.
Okay, but Jess,
Yes.
this was a comment that I had to save for when we talked about this movie. Remember when Anne said, "I'm so glad you spell your name with a K. Catherine with a K looks so much more appealing than Catherine with a C. A C is always so smug."
And then she goes and changes
And then she goes in and changes it. So I am very proud to have my name be Kami with a K.
And I am very proud to be Kaycee with a K as well.
Yes, indeed.
I have a C in my name.
Start with a C.
Well, let's talk about the other man.
The other.
Oh, you mean the tall, irresistibly handsome, proud, and melancholy man, Morgan.
Morgan Harris.
Morgan
So-
Harris.
I struggled with that a bit because it's.
Thank you.
I don't know how old she was supposed to be versus how old he was supposed to be, but it felt like he was in my brain that he was in his like upper 40s and she was in her lower 20s, and I could not. It just didn't make any sense to me.
A lot of that happened back then, honey.
But it's too weird for me. I was like, I feel like he's dating a dad.
Yes. Well, okay. So
Well, he is a dad. I mean, but what I mean.
Perspective. She is 18 because
18, 19.
Rachel says you're 18 now. I was married when I was your age. And she's like, so Anne is 18. So she's 18 turning 19 because this is a full school year. And we know that Anne's birthday is in March. And so she turns 19. We don't, off camera or whatever. And then Morgan is old enough to have a 13-year-old. So let's say he married and had her when he was 18. So 18 plus 13 at the youngest would be like, what, 31? But he definitely looked older. Which
Let's give him 35.
Yeah.
Let's say 35.
I mean, he was a handsome man. The age gap
it doesn't work.
It didn't quite, it just didn't work.
Okay.
Well, especially when you consider that Anne was only 5 to 6 years older than Emmeline. I mean, how would that be for a stepmother situation?
Yeah. I mean, thank goodness it's Emmeline, sweet little Emmeline.
And not Jen Pringle.
Yeah. So here's a little bit of a fun fact. When I was younger, back when like forums were a thing, there was an Anne of Green Gables forum on the Sullivan Entertainment site, and so I would like stalk it and just
did the forums blow up about this?
Yeah, well, yes, okay, they did, and then they would do like fan fictions, like Anne of Green Gables fan fictions and stuff, and so I would like as a teenager just like scroll through and read, and yes, Morgan Harris was totally a hot take on the forums. They used to call him an old fart. So, and then they used to some people would write these like really funny like fan fiction stories set in modern times with Morgan Harris being like this like real, I don't know, it was just crazy, but it was hilarious. But Morgan Harris was a hot take on that forum.
I can imagine.
Yeah, some of those stories though were wild and hilarious. Hilarious. We should find him on the Wayback Machine on Google because sometimes you can find like old things.
Oh yeah, I bet you could find him.
Yeah. And then another thing, since we're talking about age, so the actor who played Jen Pringle was actually older than Megan.
She looked it.
Yeah, yeah.
I think they did a relatively good job at making her look young.
Oh yeah, but her voice. I simply cannot stay. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Like, oh, nails on a chalkboard.
So while we're there, that scene where she challenges Anne, daring her to do the strap on her.
That was heartbreaking to watch.
Oh my gosh. I don't know who it affected more. And you could tell that Jen, you could tell it hurt. Mm-hmm. But then she kind of gets over it and then she flounces back to her chair. But Anne is just burdened with this now.
Yeah, that was so that's a little bit of a change from the book. So I believe in the book it's a whole topic about corporal punishment, and I think Jane Andrews, who's very practical, she's like, oh, somebody sasses me, they get this, they get the strap or whatever. And Anne's
Sweet
like,
Jane Andrews.
I'm pretty sure it's Jane. But anyways, Anne is just so mortified by it. She's like, no, they just need loving care. But then she has to deal with Anthony Pye, who is way more of a hellion in the books than he is in the movie.
Oh,
he was the Jen Pringle.
He was the
Yeah, but it took me by surprise, and I think it's because we wouldn't see something like that in a movie in today's culture. Mm-hmm. Because in the end of the day, corporal punishment of that sort only works if you fear the punishment more. And then when you reach a point where you don't, it loses its effectiveness, kind of like it did with Jen Pringle. She's like, okay.
Yeah. So, yes. Yes, it was Anthony Pye, Anne of Avonlea, chapter 12, called A Jonah Day. Anthony Pye strutted to his usual impertinent swagger.
Oh my gosh.
Love the language here. Anyways.
Diverting over to one of the other students, when Myra Pringle defined an alligator as a large type of insect.
Who wouldn't laugh at that? So I want to jump back to the Anne and Gilbert relationship really quickly, just so as I'm thinking about it, and since you said that you need, more. So
twist Cammy's arm,
Okay. So I want to know what you thought about the ending. Like, were you expecting the ending for him to be sick? Well, actually, let's back up. Were you expecting him to pop out of the woods? Like when he's in there in the gazebo, it's raining, and let's start there.
I don't think I expected anything that happened.
That was a surprise to me the first time I saw it. I was like
once she turned him down the second time, I think after that, I didn't expect it to end the way it did. I didn't think it would be that soon that all of a sudden, they'd be engaged again. So I was just watching in the moment. I really had no predictions by that point.
Yeah. For me, that was a moment I had to silently scream, because it was like by this point midnight when I was watching it.
But what a patient man, and like it just shows the true depths of how much he loved her, because did you see, I mean, I guess you weren't expecting him, but I'll ask anyways. I mean, him and Christine being engaged.
Did that shock you at all?
I don't think it took me quite as by surprise, because she had already turned him down and made it pretty clear that because he even said, like, if you just need some time, he's willing to wait. And so I think at that point I expected him to go a different direction. I knew obviously it wouldn't fully come to fruition or whatever, but yeah.
Yeah, that scene, I love that scene. I love when they run into each other, because it's so sweet and also so heartbreaking, because I feel like that's the one scene where you see Anne really start to double guess herself.
Well, and especially because she's reading a card from Morgan. She's reading a card or a letter from Morgan at this point, and you can tell that she's that things are kind of switching in her brain. This is not just the father of one of her students. And then who should appear but a blast from the past?
That's right. You set her straight.
Yes.
Stop playing house.
I mean, talk about, I mean, obviously it was done this way on purpose, but talk about timing.
Right, right. Yeah. Well, what about the end when she's home and Diana has baby Fred with Minnie May? Did that come to you by surprise too, or like
Diana marrying Fred took me by surprise. That is not who I would have pictured Diana Barry with.
You and Anne both.
So I was with Anne there. I was like, okay. I think I need to see more. I want to see a little bit more into Diana's life.
Oh, you will in the third movie.
Okay, good.
And they pick a different
life.
They picked a different actor to play Fred in the continuing story, and he's so much better.
Yeah, he's much better.
He's so much better.
Yeah. But you definitely see more of the relationships with Diana and Fred and Anne and Gilbert in the third one for sure.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think it sounds like I'm going to really like the third one.
I think you will.
Oh, you might. Yeah. But yeah, Gilbert Blythe is dying.
What a way to find out. You're just sitting cooing over your best friend's new baby, and then, did you know Gilbert Blythe is dying?
By the way.
I think Diana did tell her to say something more interesting, that I grew a whole inch since you left, Miss Shirley.
No, she calls her Anne. She calls her Anne at that point. Yeah, that one point. That's why.
Oh, I grew a whole inch since you left, Anne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now Anthony Pye can't mess with me anymore.
Yeah. That and with that moment, you see Anne's grief hair. I don't know if you notice, her hair just gets bigger and bigger and bigher. Like just she has it up like normal. She's told that Gilbert's dying. The next scene, her hair is just like, and her hair is like.
I can't say I noticed, but now I kind of want to go back.
Oh man! Oh man! It's such big hair.
Yeah. What did you think about that?
My favorite hair. I just want to insert this really quick. My favorite hair is when it's pulled, when it's flounced just a tiny bit, but it's closer to her head. So when she has the first day of tutoring Emmeline, or when she's helping Pauline change, and she's just got that nice rounded little bun instead of the
Yeah. I agree.
That's my favorite way to see her hair, when she's helping Pauline deceive her mother. Anyway, okay, going back.
Yeah, so Gilbert dying and all that. What were your thoughts there with just, Anne coming to realization who she loved, seeing Gilbert ill, hearing his, hearing basically they're confessing their love to each other at this point.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Well, at first, I was just very taken aback that all of a sudden he's dying, because we had no inclination of this up till that point. So I was just like, okay, hold on, what's up? But then obviously I think it makes perfect sense that that's when she realizes, oh, I really do love Gilbert. And I think she knew, she obviously knew all along. I think she just didn't want things to change, because Gilbert had always been her constant, her steady supporter, and it was just too terrifying for that to change. So I think she knew all along, and it just became serious to her that, life's too short.
Yeah,
and he's worth taking that chance and that risk on. So.
Yeah,
there's a book of Revelations in everyone's life. Oh. Wow. When he is laying there on that pillow, and he's saying, I called it off. There could never be anyone for me but you. I'm like,
Mop.
Yes, mop.
Never gonna recover.
Oh yeah. Oh, it is Such a beautiful scene. So any
Mm.
other hot takes that you have, Jess? Anything like the Harrises, the Pringles? I know we haven't really talked about that much, but did you have any other hot takes there?
Nothing too crazy. I will say my least favorite aspect was the Harris family, like with the Pauline and the grandma. It just didn't interest me a whole bunch, so I could have done without it. But
Oh.
obviously it was, important to the story for Morgan Harris to be in there and all that good stuff. But
Yeah.
it just didn't do a whole ton for me.
What
Yeah.
did you think about Pauline putting on Anne's dress under that horrible black taffeta?
So brazen.
How dare
Defying
she?
her mother that way.
You don't smell respectable.
Drenched in scent.
Drenched in scent.
Yeah, the Harris family, Pringle family, so the Pringles don't show up until the 4th book. And it's very different. That whole storyline with Morgan Harris and all of that, it's completely different. I'm pretty sure Morgan Harris doesn't exist in the books. He's really a combination of like 3 of Anne's suitors and another character. And I will say, to that point of the Harris family, Pringles, whatever, not being as interesting, the Wendy Poplars book is my least favorite in the series, and that's the one where she goes to Kingsport and the Pringles and all of that. So a lot of this movie is a combination of Anne of Avonlea, Anne of the Island, and Anne of Wendy Poplars. They take bits and pieces, like they take all of Anne's experience as a teacher in Avonlea, like so the Anthony Pye stuff. They incorporate that in this movie into like Jen Pringle's character, and then they take another character in Wendy Poplars named Elizabeth. She's basically the Emmeline character, like she's got a rich dad who's away and blah 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 blah. So like there are things that are very different about the movies and the books. I think that they squeeze 3 books into one movie is essentially what
was the fireworks incident in one of those books?
Oh man, I would have to go back and look,
because I still to this day cannot believe that girls could be so stupid. That they would think that kind of a prank would even be a remotely good idea.
Yeah. As in they're all lucky to be alive.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, it comes back up in the next movie, so so things happen for a reason.
Very true.
Well, I think that we've pretty much covered all of the hot takes. I'm glad you enjoyed the movie. For this one and the original Anne of Green Gables, how many carrots would you give it? So I don't think we did that last time. So how many carrots did the first one, and how many carrots would you give this one?
I think I give the first one 4.
Is this out of 5?
Out of 5.
Oh yeah, okay. 5. And then I think this one, I would do it slightly lower because I do think it held my interest a little less. So I'll give it a 3.75.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, those are good rates because, like, very average.
I don't always enjoy older movies. It's just hard for me to get into them, and especially with how long these were, it did pretty well. I mean,
sorry, babe.
Will it make you feel better to know that the third one's shorter?
Yes, because I am excited to watch that one actually.
Yeah, that one moves a lot.
It's
just a lot for my
attention.
Yeah, it's definitely grittier. You're gonna have to watch in part 1 and part 2 just with your time. So, I mean, who knows? You may actually end up watching the whole thing at once. Yeah, but it is. I think it's the shortest one of the 3. It's not short by much with the first one, but it is definitely not as long as this one. Yeah.
But warning for later on when you read the books, it is nothing like any of the books. It's completely its own story.
Yes. Yeah, they without giving too much away, they basically take a story that ends up in the later part of the series, and they
Mhm.
incorporate it into Anne's life.
Gotcha.
So, which it's a good book. It's just
But in the book, it's their kids that are old enough to go and fight in
World War
World
One.
War I, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of continuity issues because in this movie it's set in 1902.
Mhm.
You can see it in
Yeah.
the newspaper. Whereas World War One was what, 1914 to 1918.
Something like that.
So that's like a 12-year jump, but they've only been engaged for 5 years. So like technically Anne and Gilbert are supposed to be in their early 20s still. So there's
Yeah.
a lot of continuity issues. You have to really
Just put it aside.
to really put it aside.
Yeah, just put it aside and enjoy the movie.
Yeah, just enjoy it for what it is, I think is really how I have to look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
And wait for that first moment.
That first moment.
All right. All right. I'm scared. Trivia time. Don't take
I'm
my
excited. I hope I'll probably be like, God, it used to be so difficult, and you're gonna be like, oh, Jess, this was so easy. But I try to pick some really random, obscure things.
Okay.
All right, are we ready?
Yes.
The
As
true
will
Anne
ever
of
be.
Green Gables ultimate fan.
I wore the green for the occasion.
I have like 10 questions, I think. So good amount. All right. Number 1, what color is the bicycle that Anne rides in on in the opening scene?
Brown.
Nope.
Maroon.
I'll take maroon. It's red.
Red.
Okay.
That's close enough. All right. How many doilies is Diana determined to at least have at her wedding?
37.
37. What is the name of the scholarship Anne gave up to stay home?
Avery.
Redmond.
Avery.
Huh?
The scholarship.
Oh, the Avery scholarship to go to Redmond College. Yes.
All right. What is written on the blackboard at the school Anne is going to teach at when she walks in? I think for the first
Oh, it's from Proverbs. Show me a woman, a virtuous woman, for her worth is above rubies.
Oh, you kind of got it. Oh, show me a scrupulous and upright woman, for her worth is far above diamonds.
Diamonds. Shoot. But it's from Proverbs, right?
I think it's like an adaptation of a proverb. I don't think it's quite.
No, it's not. It's not exact scripture, but
Yeah.
I'm almost certain that it says Proverbs under there.
Yeah, it did. I think.
Okay.
All right. What is Jen Pringle's dad's name?
Oh shoot. They're so. I was just gonna say, "Why, good afternoon, Mrs. Pringle." How many times do we say that? Oh,
James.
Yes, James.
oh, shoot.
Who is the founder of Kingsport?
Oh, Captain Abraham Pringle.
Yes. Dang it. These aren't hard enough, are they? All right. When Miss Stacy visits Anne's classroom, which poet's name is written on the blackboard?
Oh,
I
that's
only
a good
asked
one.
this because I actually remember that poet from English class in high school.
Oh, see, I'm always so tuned
Oh.
in on the short story of Gertrude and her teacher.
Oh, that's a good question. Longfellow?
No,
You got us,
Lord Byron.
Lord Byron.
Of course.
I would have said Emily Dickinson. That would be my first guess, but
All right. How much money does Anne get for her book?
$500.
no, it's not 500.
No, 200.
It's this is the part I didn't see.
Oh, wait.
$250.
Yes, $250.
job.
All right. And my final question, what is Emmeline's address?
Number 10, Maple Terrace.
Oh my gosh.
Number, I just said Maplehurst.
I said Maple Terrace.
Number 10, Maple Terrace. I mean, I at least think I did better than last time.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, no, those were some good. Those were really, yeah, those were some good questions.
Oh, and just because I have this written at the end, it's not a question, but it's something I wrote down because I really liked it. A quote from the movie. I don't even remember who said it. Maybe
We'll
you guys
tell you.
will. You guys can tell me. This is a trivia question. Who said this quote that I really liked? It's not what the world holds for you, it's what you bring to it.
It's not
It's
what the
Anne.
world- I think it's Anne. Yeah.
I really like that so much I wrote it down. So I'm gonna leave
Yes.
it with that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Anne. Yeah.
It's not what the world holds for you, it's what you bring to it.
Mhm. Yeah, that is a good quote.
Good
What a
note
great
to end on.
Yeah, fantastic.
Baby.
Oh, yay! Yay, Cami and I still can keep our Anne cards.
Yeah.
I was really scared there. I was like, oh gosh, I haven't watched this in like I didn't finish the movie.
It just means I have to be even more on it for the next movie because you still got a lot of these. Did I always stump you on the poet?
Yeah.
You stumped us on the poet. I messed up on the scholarship because I said the name of the college instead of the scholarship.
I think that was really the one we really didn't know.
Yeah,
And that's
we
because
did
it was
not
literally a
know
background catch.
I had no recollection of it.
None.
Now you have to go back and watch it and you'll see his name there.
Yeah. Well, the third movie will be very, very interesting. Bring it
I'm so glad that we're gonna go back and do some more recapping because I'm not ready to let this go yet.
on. Well, we will name a time and a place. So
And we'll get another Anne fan to come and gush with us so you don't have to.
Someone who will really do it justice.
very there.
I am too new to the Anne world to contribute.
Yes, and summer is coming up. Summer book club.
Oh boy.
There's a lot of people who they've said they want to go
They
back
like
and
the idea.
with us. So
Now, a book club, now that's where I like to do deep dives. I really like literature analysis.
yeah.
So that you'll get me for a good deep dive there.
Yeah, maybe we can
Okay,
do that.
but before we do the book club, we got to get through these classic favorites that we're exposing each other to, you know. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, at our track record and at our rate, I mean, that might take a long time. This is the year of Anne. I feel it. I mean, we're gonna reunite in August in a very Anne way.
Yes. Oh, yes, we are.
with an Anne themed party.
Yeah. So we're gonna have to like this is gonna be the summer of Anne. I think this is gonna be the year of Anne. We're gonna talk about Anne, and then once we've wrapped up Anne, then we'll move to the next classic, which if you guys have any thoughts as to what you think we should talk about, we'll pipeline it in. And sometime, somewhere, somehow we'll get to recording it. It's just that life is different than when we started the podcast 3 years ago. You guys, the day of this recording, we've already surpassed our anniversary.
We missed our own anniversary. What's our official anniversary day?
March 15th.
The 15th? I
March
was thinking the 20th.
Or something. Was it? Oh, I have to go back and look. We're such bad podcast parents. We don't even know our
Well,
own.
happy birthday, belated birthday to us.
Happy anniversary to deliver me a podcast.
How fitting.
Oh man, we should have got this out more.
We'll do something. We'll
Yeah.
do something.
But anyways, guys, thanks for sticking around with us for the last 3 years. We know we're really sporadic these days, but life is different, like I said, but we're here. And let us know your thoughts on Anne of Green Gables. We can't wait to hear all about it.
My first thought is because a lot of classics that we've talked about covering, I've seen them all. So now I want to see if somebody will name one that I haven't seen.
There you go. Challenge is on and Kami accepts, or I accept on Kami's behalf.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. All
Now
right.
the funny thing is going to be if it's a classic that one of you have seen and I haven't. That's going to be
Well,
funny.
that's not going to happen with me. So
I know.
That's not gonna that's not gonna happen.
All right, so a really amazing classic movie that has so much culture behind it, like this one, that I haven't seen. What, Kaycee?
No, I just got really excited because I saw that The Music Man is on HBO Max. And so I haven't seen it since I was in 5th grade, and I got really excited. And so I just thought, oh, that would be a fun one to hear.
Wait, the Music Man with Hugh Jackman?
No, 76 trombones.
Yes,
the original one.
Oh, the original.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Not the Broadway.
I thought maybe they had filmed a version with Hugh Jackman, because they filmed a version, they filmed a remake that went straight to TV with Matthew Broderick as as the Music Man.
Yeah.
And I have no idea what either of you are talking about. So
yes. Well, we better end this recording before we go on a different kind of tangent. So
and Jess falls asleep.
Yeah. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye, friends.
Bye, guys.